Hello, Vincent. Here's Jenny. I'm doing a survey about cultural effects on social spaces. I know you're in Melbourne right now, but you've been in London for a long time. So I wanna ask, how long have you been in London?
Almost 2 years.
And how long been Melbourne?
Just 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and do you feel any difference between the atmosphere in China, in London, and also in Melbourne? Maybe like from travel mode or communication mode, or even shopping mode. Any aspects that you want to talk?
Actually, it depends. Like for transportation, I think Australia, Melbourne is the same as China, and lots of them use more modern style. Of course, 3 countries both have bus, subway, or taxi, but there's still some small difference. Like in Melbourne or in London, you can use skateboard on street.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it is not allowed in China.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you can see lots of bicycles in Melbourne and London. But in China, maybe electric bicycle is more popular.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And for communication, I think for online, Chinese people always use WeChat, and of course some of people use WeChat in Melbourne, but actually in London, most of local will use like WhatsApp, Instagram, or Line, and mail, of course. But for offline, you can always see British people talk to each other, and they will always have communications with a bill. And for shopping, I think shopping is almost the same. You can shopping online and of course offline shopping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. And how do you think most British people evaluate China and Australia?
I think UK is a country of immigration. I feel most of the British people is friendly to Chinese or other countries people. They are always like to help if someone has trouble, and of course they will also learn from Chinese. For example, when I first year in London, and that's the start of the COVID-19. So when I walk on street, one citizen and come to ask where they can get masks, and and she think this will protect them. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you evaluate the relationship between China and UK and UK between Australia from your own perspective?
I'm not so sure about this area. So far, I think they all seems to be relatively friendly on the service. And actually, in fact, regardless of the relationship between governments, it is most important that it does not affect our lives outside the country at the moment.
Okay. If talking about social space, on which space will you think at first?
Well, because I'm a student, so the first space I come out is library. Yeah.
Okay. And so you definitely go to library in London before?
Yeah, actually, I spend most of time in my home or classroom and library. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you see any difference between Chinese libraries and British libraries?
Yeah, actually. I think they are almost the same, and the only difference is the style. Like most of the library in China is modern style, but in UK most of them is ancient architectures. So it is not only a just library. It is also a tourist attractions.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear. Have you been to library in Melbourne?
Not,
Haven't.
but I went to British Museum when I was in London. Yeah.
Okay. Any difference between museums?
Both of them will store many old things, a lot of artifacts actually,
Okay.
and I think the one I was most impressed in a British museum is the Chinese tongue tree colors, because they are really beautiful and the colors are particularly bright. It doesn't seem like it's ancient stuff. It's
okay.
it looks very new. Yeah.
I wish I could see that as well. And can you find a book introduced about Australia in the library and maybe read the abstract to me?
Yeah, I found a book called History of Australia.
Yeah, sure.
And summary, yeah, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, sure.
A history of Australia weaves together vivid, multiple-dimensional history that considers key cultural, social, political, and economic events and issues within the wider Gold context. Comprehensive and accessible, this is essential reading for all those seeking an authoritative overview of Australian history. This reserve's second edition has been updated throughout to incorporate the latest research and to bring the story up to the present day. The final chapter has been rewritten and updated to incorporate events up to and including 2017. It offers reflections on emerging trends such as climate change and the continuing disadvantage of endangered Australians that may shape Australia's future. It also has an increased focus on social and cultural history with expanded materials on art and filming. Yeah.
Alright. Cool, wonderful. Two last questions. Do you think culture has an impact on public space? And if it does, what are the aspects of these effects?
One space I can come out is a bar. Like in China, when people go to a bar, they will always order like some cocktails.
Yeah.
But in London, people always just order a beer and talk with each other.
Okay.
I think this is, big difference.
Okay, so it's about people's flavor and tastes. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And okay. I wanna clarify because I'm going to do an art project, to demonstrate the influence of cultural background on social spaces. Do you have any suggestions for this art project? Or let's say, if letting you to do such an art program, how will you do, and which art materials that you are going to choose to demonstrate this idea?
I'm not very sure about this, but for me, maybe I will like choose drawing or take pictures for the streetscape. Like just take a photo of the street in China and in London. And I think it has a very big difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I want to ask. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day. See ya.
See you.